Right, so get this. Today we're diving into Turin, Italy.
Turin.
Yeah, we're using this top 10 places to visit in Turin list.
Okay.
It's from Love to Visit Italy. It actually just came out today, November 24th, 2024. So, whether you're planning a trip or just love to, armchair travel, this is going to be fun. I think we're going to find some seriously unique stuff. Turin's more than just, Fiat cars and
Oh,
stuff.
I've heard the food scene is incredible.
Oh, yeah, food for sure.
Oh.
But also, chocolate hazelnut things, mountain views.
Really?
It was even Italy's first capital.
Huh. I did not know that about Turin.
Yeah. It's often overlooked, right?
Yeah, totally.
Which is crazy because being a former capital, that means layers of history, architecture, all that royal stuff.
Oh, for sure. And being at the foot of the Alps, come on. It's got to be visually stunning. Probably amazing outdoor stuff too, right?
Right. Okay, so obviously we got to start with the landmark that just screams Turin. The Mole Antonelliana. Have you seen pictures of this thing?
Oh, yeah. That spire, it's so unique. There's nothing else like it. Really makes Turin's skyline stand out.
It's wild, right? And get this, it was never meant to be like the landmark. It was supposed to be a synagogue.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the construction took so long, they ended up repurposing it.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's definitely iconic. And now it houses the National Cinema Museum.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that later. It's on the list, too.
Yeah.
So we've got, beauty A&D brains in one building.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 is the Museo Nazionale dell'Automobile.
Car museum.
Yeah, the National Automobile Museum. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a huge AE car buff.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling this is more than just looking at old cars.
Oh, 100%. So Turin is the birthplace of Fiat, right? This museum is really about Italy's whole industrial history. You see how one company, being in Turin, it shaped the whole city. They even have a Fiat Turin model from 1915 during World War I.
Wow, that's got to be something to see.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're hitting royalty. We've got the Royal Palace of Turin and the Palazzo Madama.
Oh, the opulence.
Right. I'm already picturing the ball gown.
Well, the royal palace definitely won't disappoint on the opulence. Centuries of Savoy dynasty living there, they did not skimp. But here's the thing. Right next door, you have the Palazzo Madama.
Oh.
And it's completely different. This building was a Roman gate at first.
What?
Then a medieval castle, then a royal residence. It's layers of Turin's history right there in the walls.
Talk about a building with stories to tell. Okay, next we're going up, the Basilica di Superga. It's on a hilltop, amazing views.
Instagram heaven.
Right. But it also has this, I don't know, a really kind of sad layer to it.
Yeah, it's where the entire Torino football team, the Grande Torino they were called, died in a plane crash in 1949.
Oh, wow.
Makes it a place of pilgrimage for fans, adds this whole other feeling to it.
It's crazy how a place can be so beautiful,
Right.
but also, heavy with history.
Yeah.
And speaking of beauty and history, we're going to tie this back to the Mole Antonelliana.
Oh, yeah, the National Cinema Museum.
How cool is it that that's inside this crazy spire?
Right, you're already in awe of the building itself, and then you go deep into the world of cinema.
That's so fun.
And it's meant to be super immersive, not just watching old clips, interactive exhibits. They even have a horror movie poster section. Some are from the silent era.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm too scared for that.
They're creepy.
I bet. Okay, moving on. We've got Turin Cathedral. I know what everyone's thinking. Shroud of Turin. Right.
Right.
But I'm assuming there's more to see than just that.
Oh, tons. I mean, the shroud's a huge draw, but the cathedral itself is amazing Renaissance architecture. Built in the late 1400s. Even if you're not religious, you got to respect the artistry, They have these stained glass windows. They show scenes from the life of John the Baptist. Really incredible.
So much history in one place. Okay, time to relax for a bit. Next is Parco del Valentino. I'm picturing, a nice park.
Yeah.
Maybe a picnic.
Totally. Power River,
Yeah.
trees. Oh, and get this. There's a reconstructed medieval village.
Wait, what? A whole village?
Yeah. They built it in the late 1800s for some exposition, but they were really detailed about it. You can walk the cobblestone streets. There's a castle, even artisan workshops. It's stepping back in time.
Okay, that's wild. I'm adding that to my list. All right, back to the city center. Number 9 is Piazza Castello. What's the vibe there?
Okay, imagine a grand square surrounded by palaces. The Royal Palace, Palazzo Madama, all right there. Cafes, people watching, street musicians. It's the heart of the city.
I love that.
And there's this huge piece of art, the Cavallo di Leonardo.
Okay.
It's a giant horse sculpture based on Leonardo da Vinci's designs. So you get the old and the new all mixed together.
I love that. And finally, bringing up the rear, we have The Egyptian Museum. Wait, hold up. Egyptian stuff in Italy.
I know, right?
I'm so
This
confused.
is where it gets really cool. Turin's Egyptian Museum is huge. It rivals the collection in Cairo. Over 30,000 artifacts. It started with King Charles Felix of Sardinia. Back in the 1800s, he was like obsessed with Egyptology. But they have things here you won't see anywhere else, like this tomb of Khan and Merit. It's almost totally intact.
So we've gone from like towering landmarks
Yes.
to palaces, parks to piazzas, and now we're in ancient Egypt. And we haven't even left Turin.
It's pretty incredible. Welcome back to Turin.
Mhm.
You know, it's really amazing just how much variety the city has.
I know, right? It's like every corner we turn, there's something new and amazing. And we haven't even left like the top 10 list yet. Okay, so you were saying about the Mole Antonelliana. It was originally supposed to be a synagogue.
Yeah, which is in itself like really fascinating. Was going to be
Mhm.
this symbol of, the Jewish community being part of Italian society, but the construction, it just went on forever. Costs got out of control.
Wow.
There were tensions. In the end, the Jewish community, they had to abandon it.
No, that's sad. I mean, it's almost like the building itself kind of represents those complexities of Turin's history,
Yeah.
And then to go from that to the National Cinema Museum being inside,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a weird pairing at first glance.
It seems that way, but it actually works so well. The mullet with that whole like upward reaching structure, it's like ambition, human ambition, and then cinema's all about pushing boundaries creatively, so it kind of fits.
I like that.
The museum is this like journey through film history, the very first moving pictures, all the way to like today's blockbusters.
That's got to be cool.
They even have a section all about neorealism, the film movement that, started in Turin.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you're making me want to book a flight right now.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a bit. Talk about the car museum, the Museo Nazionale dell'Automobile. You said they have that Fiat Turin from World War I. What's special about that one?
So many things. But, I mean, for one, think about when it was made.
Mm.
Right in the middle of World War I. Crazy technological advancements happening, tons of change. All industries were being pushed to innovate.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Cars were no exception. The Turin model, it showed that ingenuity. It had a really powerful engine for its time. And they were even experimenting with, like, lighter materials to save fuel.
Wow.
Which is something we're still worried about today.
Right. Okay, well, I'm ready to be wowed some more. Let's get to that royal treatment, the Royal Palace of Turin.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying, like, no expense spared by the Savoy dynasty.
Yeah.
Give me an example. What really shows that extravagance?
Oh, there are so many. But the one that sticks with me, it's the Galleria del Daniel.
Okay.
It's this hallway with this crazy vaulted ceiling, but the whole thing is covered in frescoes. And they're all like scenes from Savoy family history. It's breathtaking. It really makes you feel like their power, their goals.
Oh, I bet. And then right next door, we have the Palazzo Madama.
Yeah.
So different. You were saying it was a Roman gate first.
Right.
What's left from that time period?
You can actually still see parts of the Roman foundation and some walls. They're built into the like later structure. It's mind-blowing, to think you're standing there and this place has seen 2,000 years of history go by. Then it becomes a medieval castle, then a royal residence.
It's like one building as Turin's timeline.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's go back up to that hilltop, the Basilica di Superga. I'm curious about that plane crash. The Grande Torino. What can you tell us about it?
It was devastating. I mean, it shook the whole city and the whole football world, too. The Grande Torino, they were one of the best teams in Italian football history.
Yeah.
So to lose them all, it was a huge tragedy.
Yeah.
Even now, fans still go to the Basilica to pay respects. There's this memorial on the hillside where it happened. It's this reminder that even though the place is beautiful, life can be really fragile.
That's powerful. Bringing it back to a lighter note, the Cinema Museum, I'm really intrigued by those horror movie posters. Why are they so special?
I think they're a window into how, we've seen horror over time, how it was shown to people. The old ones especially, they're so striking, especially the silent era ones. They had to rely so much on the images, on how they wrote the words, to give you those chills. They're like art pieces. They're often like grotesque creatures or these really creepy settings.
You said creepy.
They are.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. On to Turin Cathedral. We talked a bit about the Renaissance architecture, but what's one detail that really shows off that style?
The facade. It's amazing. It has these super detailed sculptures, these reliefs showing Bible scenes. It's like textbook Renaissance humanism. You've got religious themes, but it's also celebrating human artistry,
Yeah.
what we can achieve.
It sounds gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay, time for another break. Let's go to Parco del Valentino. I'm ready for some relaxation. What's your favorite spot in that reconstructed medieval village?
Ooh, that's tough. But I really like the Rocca. It's this little castle overlooking the village.
Okay.
And it's not just a replica, it's actually a museum. It's about medieval life in the Piedmont region. So you can see real armor, weapons, furniture, all from that time.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Okay, back to the city, Piazza Castello. You were saying there's this, like, giant horse sculpture, the Cavallo di Leonardo. Why is that one so special?
So it's based on this clay model that Leonardo da Vinci made.
No way.
Yeah. Back in the 1400s, he wanted to make this huge equestrian statue, like monument-sized, but it never happened. So this sculpture is like we get to see his genius even centuries later. And it's a reminder that, some serious talent has come through Turin.
I love that. Okay, and last but not least, the Egyptian Museum. We were talking about how it rivals Cairo's collection. What makes it so special?
It's not just how big it is, it's what they have. It's the quality, the variety. They have giant pharaoh statues and then tiny little amulets that regular Egyptians would have worn.
Oh, wow.
And what's cool is they don't just focus on like the rulers and the big events. They show you daily life in ancient Egypt, how people lived, worked, worshipped.
That's really interesting. Okay, so in this part, we've covered a lot. From amazing architecture to royal palaces to parks, piazzas. We even went to ancient Egypt.
Right.
And we're still just talking about Turin. All right, final part of our Turin adventure. I gotta say, I am seriously impressed. So much to see, so much history.
Right. And you know what's cool? Even with all the big famous stuff, Turin still has this like down-to-earth feel.
Yeah, I get it.
Feels real, you
Yep.
know? Like you could wander off and find hidden gems all over the place.
Okay, now you have to give me an example. Out of all the places we talked about, what's like a must-see for that hidden gem vibe?
Okay, I've got one. The Galleria Sabauda.
Okay.
It's this art gallery. It kind of gets overshadowed by the more famous ones, but the collection is incredible.
Right.
Renaissance, Baroque, you've got Van Dyck, Titian, all these Italian masters, and it's in these really beautiful, almost like intimate rooms.
So it's like a peaceful art experience.
Totally.
What makes this collection stand out, though? I mean, there's a lot of art in Italy.
This one is like pure Turin, pure Piedmont, their artistic heritage. And okay, there's this one painting, it always gets me. It's by Caravaggio. It's called The Supper at Emmaus.
Okay.
The way he shows the scene, the emotion, it's like you're right there in the story. It's breathtaking.
It's funny, what I'm loving about Turin is how it's both grand, A&E, intimate, like historical but modern at the same time.
Totally. It's not stuck in the past. It's a living city. Like you could be in a royal palace one minute, then grabbing lunch at a market, then having a bicerin in some cozy little cafe. It's got it all.
Okay, I have to ask, what's a bicerin?
Oh, you have to try it. It's like this layered drink with coffee, chocolate, and cream. It's a Turin classic.
Okay, noted. Bicerin is on the list. After doing this whole deep dive, Turin is officially on Dre YY Travel bucket list. It seems like one of those cities that rewards, like, being curious, You got to dig a little deeper to really appreciate it.
And that's what makes travel so great. It's about being open to new things, seeing things from a different point of view, finding those unexpected things that you just connect with. And Turin is perfect for that.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
So to our listener, if you're looking for a place that's got, like, everything, history, art, good food, and a whole lot of Italian charm, Turin is calling your name. Go explore.
And remember, the best travel memories, they usually come from those off-the-beaten-path discoveries, those little things that really stick with you. So go with an open mind, let Turin surprise you. You won't regret it.
Until next time, happy travels.